Hey guys, I'm trying something a little different again. I'm streaming creative now, so I'm not going to be playing a game. Instead, this is an app. This website you're seeing right now. This is a web app that I've written, and I thought of a feature I wanted, and I figured might as well stream me implementing that feature, right? So the feature I'm thinking of is I have this. I added this tab, short games, as I mentioned in the previous video, so that when I stream, I can pick a game that I can complete in one sitting in one session of the stream. Um, and so I was thinking this morning about how usually when I sit down to stream, I have an idea of how long I want to stream for. Like I might say, okay, I'm gonna do a 1 hour session or a 2 hour session or whatever. Um, what I did last night was I greedily picked the shortest games, so I just went down this list. Um, but this game, for example, apparently is about 15 minutes long, and that's um, that's like valuable in a sense of like if ever I'm in a situation where I only have 15 minutes, or approximately 15 minutes to play, then this would be a good game to use for that situation. Whereas if I had like an hour to play, it I'm not sure what makes sense to play like these three games all in one session, and then next time I had 15 minutes to play, I'm kind of screwed because then I've used up all my 15-minute games. So like if I had an hour to play, I might play these games instead, right? Um, and so the idea for the feature is to create categories. Instead of just having one category got short games, you might have a category that says like games that are um, 30 minutes, and then there are other games that are like 30 minutes to an hour that are and so on, and then I can pick the top game from that category, because right now this list, by the way, is sorted by duration, right? So it just ignores the ranking of the game. But if I'm committed to playing like a 1 hour game, might make sense to pick like the best 1 hour game, right? To stream. So that's the high level idea of the feature I want to implement. To get a little bit more sophisticated, I guess. Let me open up my IDE here, uh, and I'm probably gonna create a new class for this. Call it duration bucketizer, perhaps. And this sort of gives a hint at what the sophistication I'm thinking of. So the idea is, and I'm not sure if my keyboard is too loud on this microphone because I've never streamed myself programming before. So I'll watch the stream afterwards and see if I need to buy a quieter keyboard or something like that, or if maybe just streaming myself programming is a bad idea. But okay, so the feature is, um, as a human, right? I have these ideas of what are natural bucket boundaries, like 30 minutes might be a natural category for game duration, or 1 hour might be another one, and 2 hours, and maybe 4 hours, something like that. Um, but if there's a game that's like 31 minutes long, I want it to fall into the 30-minute bucket, not the 1 hour bucket, right? So I don't want 30 minutes to be the boundary. I want it to be the prototypical or exemplary example of a game in that bucket. And so really, I guess what I want the boundaries to be would be like something like 45 minutes, and then 1.5 hours, and so on, right? Like, so the idea is I want some sort of function where I give it the prototypical values, and then it figures out what the boundaries should be for each bucket. So that's what I'm going to try to code here, and hopefully I don't make a fool of myself by being unable to figure out what the algorithm is for doing that. So I guess what how do we want to do this? So we're gonna want some function, right, where you give it a list of boundaries. So maybe something like calculate buckets. Oops. You're gonna give it sorry, not a list of boundaries, a list of exemplary, or I guess example durations. And is there a duration class? Yes, there is. Okay, so I'm gonna give a list of these, and then I want something back out, and I think I want a custom data type for this. I can't think of like I guess in a sense you can think of a pair as being what I want, like, because what I'm thinking is a bucket that has two interesting values, right? Which is like what's the lower bound on the bucket and what's the upper bound. So you could represent that as a pair. Maybe I was gonna say there's a class called int range, I think. Yeah, but what I really want is like duration range, right? Which I don't know if that exists yet. Is there like a if there's a generic range class? Oh, there is a generic range class. There's a Google one and there's a Apache one. Oh, let's take a look at what the Apache one looks like here. Compare oriented so I code comparator. Okay, so this sounds good. This might be what I want. So maybe I want a range of duration, and maybe what I'll do here, create type alias to say that a bucket is a range of duration. So now I'm saying this returns the bucket. It actually returns a list of buckets, right? So this is going to be my function where you give it, for example, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, and then it's going to give you a list of buckets. And because we're professional software developers who follow best practices, we're going to do a little bit of TDD here. So I'm going to create my test file duration bucketizer test. And I can never remember how you write tests in Kotlin. Let me see. No, I don't want the string spec. I think that's the old thing. I think, yeah, should spec. That's what I wanted. So I want to use should spec. So when I first started this app, I didn't know the testing frameworks in Kotlin. I still don't know them that well, but I started doing string spec, and I got bit by that because I didn't realize that. Well, let me show you. So the way string spec works is you give it you name your test, you give a string, and that's the name of your test, right? And then you have the body of the test here. And I thought like there was an implication here that you could nest tests, like this is whatever, and then I have some like assert whatever. But no, this doesn't work. If you do this, the test will say it passed, but it never actually runs this. So then I have to do some research to find out which spec implementation does allow nesting and should spec does, or at least it does to one level, which so far I've only needed one level. And did I take it from here? Yeah, so the example here is you give, I guess, the name of a category of tests. So I've been naming it after the method that I'm testing, right? So the show method on the games controller, for example. So this is where I would put all of those tests, and I say should, and then what am I actually testing? So what is the show method should handle empty game model, for example. Anyway, so okay, what did I name it? Like calculate buckets? Calculate buckets method should do what? Should simple example. I think there's some sort of we'll do one example here, and then I think there's a shortcut method to allow you to, like if you have multiple test cases like that are all the same structure but use different input data, there's helper functions to deal with that. But we'll start by writing one example for now. And so there's some sort of help. Yeah, list of. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so we can say duration of minutes, 30 minutes. Of 1 hour. 2 hours. Let's just do half an hour, 1 hour, and 2 hour for now to keep things simple. So this is going to be our input, and the idea is do I want to make this a static method? Now I'm trying to think, would I ever want to mock this? Let's make it static for now, I guess, and then if we get to the situation where we mock it, I think it'll be relatively easy to make it an instance function. Because I don't foresee myself wanting to mock this function, but okay, we'll see. So here's the input, and so now we're getting some output out of that. And now we want to assert. Do I have assert that? I don't remember what the. No, it's not assert, right? Like, what I just remember what. There's some sort of verification. Should be. Yeah. Okay. I'm new to testing Kotlin. So the output should be. Is that how we do it? No. Should be a list. Probably. It's a list of buckets. I'm assuming I don't have the constructors here. Like when I do a type alias, yeah, I think I have to use the underlying alias. Maybe I can write some convenience constructors basically here. I don't even know this range constructor. It's a final class, so hopefully it does. How do I actually construct one of these? Darn. I didn't think this far ahead. I'm also a little bit new to IntelliJ. I usually use Eclipse, so I'm not sure if there's a better. Oh, here we go. Statistic range between. Okay, looks like this is what I want. I was going to say I'm not sure there's a better way to like see a list of constructors or whatever. So now I have a way of constructing my buckets. So it should be okay. Let me take care. So if I have an example from 30 to 1 hour, so I probably want the next bucket to be 45 minutes. And then I'm gonna go from 45 to what? To 1.5 hours, which is what, 90? Yeah, 90. And then here, this is, maybe this is, I don't know if this is like the contract I want to settle on yet, but what I'm thinking is I'm not going to do 90 to infinity. I'm going to do 90 to, like I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to pick the upper bound such that 2 is in the middle of the lower bound and the upper bound. So from 90 to 2 hours, 2 hours is 120. So I had to add 30. So I'm going to add another 30 to get to 150. I'm hoping my math is right. Hopefully, it's like when your tests are wrong. Oh, and I'm not sure. I'm playing music, by the way, but I don't know if it's too quiet. It's Creative Commons music, or I don't know if it's Creative Commons. It's I'm using the no copyright stream. No copyright sounds here, which to my understanding is license. They set up a license that you can use it for your streams, so this should be okay for streaming on Twitch. There's my ID. Here we go. So where was it? Yes. Okay. So this is gonna be the exemplary bucket for 2, and then I'm gonna make the next bucket go to infinity. Which I don't even, is there a duration instance that represents infinity? It looks like the answer is no, there is not such a concept. So maybe what I need to do is, should I represent infinity by making this nullable? So null means infinity in a sense. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. Let's go with that for now. We'll see what the code looks like. We might have to redesign this data structure in a moment. But assuming we can do that, so then this is where we do this, and now we have our test. So let's run the test. I have my test target somewhere. Here it is, and we expect the test to fail. We probably expect the code to not compile, because I think I still have a compiler here because I don't have a return statement here. Let's just check that. Adjust the music a little bit. How's this? Yeah, okay. On my, I'm watching the mixer meters, and it looks like my voice is still louder than music, so that's fine. Compilation error. Yep, that's what we expected. Okay, so let's do the simplest thing here, which is search for an empty list, and we expect the test to still fail after this. But we expect it to compile at least, and then execute the test and have the test fail. So let's see. By the way, I don't know if I have my ID set up wrong, but this is something I'm not too happy with. In my development experience with Kotlin, I feel like running tests is pretty slow. It should be, like, it would be nice if it were faster. Elements in range must not be null. Oh, okay, so we don't. Oh, man. So range doesn't support null. This is a bit of a pain. I'm trying to think, because like, so the first thing that comes to mind is I'm gonna use optional, and then I would have to provide a comparator, probably like a custom comparator that says that if optional none is infinite, it's the biggest value. Yeah, let's just do that. It's probably the easiest way out of here. and I want to allow the. Actually, I think I can use this syntax. Right. Okay, yeah, this is a syntax for it. Let's clean this code up a little bit. Okay, and so now, is there a comparator builder that I can use? Compare to builder. How does this work? I feel this is not what I want. What's the type on this comparing? Key extractor. There might be a way to do it with this, but I feel like the fact that I'm struggling to reason with it makes me think that it would not be as obvious as just writing out the if statements. So I'm thinking, so if A is present and if B is present, actually let's use the when here. This probably makes it easier to read. If A is present and B is present, and then do something. Otherwise, if A is present, B is not present. Otherwise, if A is not present, and otherwise. This should be all the combinations. I don't know if the when realizes this, so we might have to do. What's the best way to document this? Okay, so if we have two values, we'll just extract those two values. And that gives us that value. If B is not present, then B is the bigger guy, and I can never remember. But I believe 1 is what you want to return when B is bigger. Let me look up. Comparator returns a negative, 0 positive integer. As the first argument is less than, yeah. So if the second argument is greater, the second, like such as infinity, you want to return a positive integer. So for example, 1. Okay. Otherwise, if A is not present, so A is infinity and B is finite, so you want to return -1. And otherwise, they're both infinite, so we return 0. So this should be good. Okay, so now I have my stuff. Let's make sure, let's check the tests again. Some tests are failing, which is to be expected. And I'm expecting it to say like empty list does not match whatever. Yeah, so we expected this thing, but instead we got an empty list. Wait. This looks wrong. 0 to 45, 45 to 130, and then. So maybe I got the. So let's write a test for this bucket of thing, because I feel like this means I got it wrong. So we're gonna have a different test for it. I can open it. That's the clear shit here with. Limited bucket of some arbitrary duration. Never saying this. This should be basically it should be a range between duration minutes 30. You gotta do it like this one. And it should actually be an option. Let's do it like this. I'm not sure if this is a good test actually. I might be this is a problem here. Actually, I don't understand this error message. I was about to say I might be testing the implementation too much for this. So maybe the better way to do this, I just want to check. Can I get the lower bound? The minimum should be lower bound. The maximum should be upper bound, except it probably needs to be the optional of these guys. I guess they should both be nullable. Okay, let's see if this how this works. Yeah, I think this is the test file I was expecting. Okay, so now we can try to isolate the bug. And the bug is probably in the comparator. So if B is... I mean, like, what I can just do is fiddle with this until it passes, but I don't understand why... Let me read the contract again. Maybe I got it, maybe I read it backwards. Where's comparator? Oh, I had it. Comparator. Returns a negative, 0, or positive integer as the first argument is less than. Okay, yeah, I think I did have it backwards. So if the second argument is infinity, then the first argument is less than, so I wanted to return -1. Second argument is infinity, first argument is finite, so the first argument is smaller, so I return less. So I return a negative integer, such as -1, for example. So let's see if this makes the test pass now. I think it did. So we saw the second test, it's failing. Now the first test does pass. Okay. Okay, so now we have our buckets. And let me check. So 0 to 45, 45 to 130, 130 to 230, 230 to infinity. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. So now to actually implement this main method here. Honestly, I don't even know where to start this. Let me think about this. So for every duration, no, for every pair of duration, I want to find the midpoint between them. Yeah, and then I have a special like starting point and ending point, I think. So is there maybe some sort of like sliding window method? Yeah, I think there is. I've not used this before, so I don't know what these parameters mean. But I think I want a sliding window of size 2. Returns a list of snapshots of the window of the given given size. Music a little loud. Sorry, let me lower the music a little bit. Or maybe it's pretty low here. Maybe this is still better. I just really to lower it. Like this? Okay. Let's see. Turns a list of snapshots of the window to given size, sliding along its collection with a given step, where each snapshot is a list. Partial window false. It shows whether or not to keep partial windows at the end. Yeah, I don't want partial window. Okay, so these two defaults look right, and I think I want a window size of 2 because I want to look at pairs. Alright. So now that I have my pairs, I want to find the midpoint between each pair. So I probably want to do a mapping here. And so the mapping is going to screw up, you know, the name of this variable, but that's okay. I can change that later. So I'm expecting just make sure I'm not misunderstanding how this window method works. But now that I have my two things, I can take the average of the two, I believe. What's the easiest way to average the duration? Let me think here. So if I have, well, let me see. So I got my two values, and then maybe I can get seconds? Is there get milliseconds? No, get seconds is probably the way to do it then. Okay, so probably just do. Oops. Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit confusing. So I'll probably get rid of these temporary variables in a moment. Excuse me. But then if I just divide these, and then convert them back into a duration, I believe, of seconds. Oops. For some reason I lost the parentheses. Yeah, okay. So then, just to avoid the second.seconds ambiguity, I'll just do this. Okay, so now I think I have my average, my midpoint between each duration. But I want a special like 0 and null duration on the two boundaries. So I'll call these like midpoints, I guess. And then I have another, let's say the boundaries is a... What's the easiest way, given a list, to have just like one element prepended and appended? I guess I'm just use the traditional Java way. Let's see what this iterations. So it's going to be multiple iterations, and the size is going to be my number of midpoints plus 2. So I'm going to add a prefix boundary and a suffix boundary. So here's my prefix. Then I'm going to add all the midpoints I calculated. Then I'm going to add my infinity value. Actually, wait, it's not. I forgot. I'm not using null one. I'm using optional. So it's actually going to be. This is going to be optional one. And then this guy, I probably need to do. I want this guy to be optional of. Okay. So now I have all my boundaries. And I believe if I just do another sliding window over them, I can convert these into my buckets. So window 2 again, and then I'm going to map these guys. And again, just to make sure I did not misunderstand the contract of the window method. I'm saying each of these, I should be getting pairs of them at a time. Let's see here. Sorry. So I'm gonna have these buckets. So I have my bucket of method actually. So I can say the first guy is gonna be the lower bound, and the second guy is gonna be the upper bound. Does that work? Oh, interesting. In one place I use nullable, and the other place I use non-null. So let's just create two constructors that to support both use cases. Oh, actually, that's interesting because the first guy can't be null. It's only the second guy that's nullable. Okay, well let's start with adding support for that. And so I'm just gonna have this guy call the other guy. Sir, yeah. Okay, so this guy is calling that guy. But yeah, the fact that only the upper bound can be null makes this interesting. So maybe I don't want to do it like this. Maybe like. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna add the suffix at the very end once my types are settled. But okay, so now I have. I guess I'll just make speed of buckets directly. So these are not optional because these are I always have a value here, and then I'm gonna say I'm gonna window these guys, and then I'm gonna map them again. Take here. Yeah, so now I have a bunch of buckets, but I'm missing the first and the last bucket. I don't know if the list I get back here is mutable, but let's try to mutate it and we'll just see. How do I add? It's not it. Oh, maybe this is not like the Java list. This is a Kotlin list that might not be mutable. So I might have to do something like it's a mutable list, and then add at the very beginning in bucket. Actually, I realize right now I'm assuming that these iterations are sorted, but that might not be a safe iteration. So let me just add a reminder. Here for now. I'll write the test for that in a moment. Okay, for now we're I want to add at the very beginning. I guess I need this temporary variable here. So I'll store my boundaries here. And then I'll make a new barrel bucket. Boundaries. Add this. And I want to create a bucket where the start at 0 and I go up to the first boundary that I discovered. And then at the end, wait, do I not get the? Okay, let me just make this a mutable list then. It's a mutable. So now I'm a mutable list. Bucket's mutable list, and I'm gonna add this to it, and then I want to add at the end. I'm hoping there's an add. Yeah, so I assume add with no index means add to the end. I'm gonna do a bucket of our last element, and going to infinity. And then I'll return that, and let's see if this makes the test pass. Test did not pass. Why not? Expected this stuff, but was that stuff. Let me put them on copy and paste this onto the same line just so I can compare them. So expected that, but what is this? Let's see here. Oh, I'm missing. Why am I missing the last guy? What did I pass in here? Half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hour. Oh, right, there is a special case. Okay. So let me think about this. So I need to add 2 guys onto the end, it looks like. So when I get to the end of my boundaries, I'm going to use this as the... I have a boundary that goes... Do I have this boundary? I don't have this boundary calculated at all. Okay, so I need to add 1 more boundary, I guess. How would I do that? Let me think about this. First of all, let's make this a mutable list because I'm going to add 1 more guy to it, so I want to mutate him. If I look at the last boundary and the last example duration, that gives me the distance, like from 2 hours to 1:30, and then I just add that same distance to get the 1 extra boundary I'm missing, I think. Okay, so get the last boundary, and then I get the last duration. Can I subtract this? Does this work? Apparently this works. This is the half width of last bucket. And so I just want to add 1 more. To the last duration. Last plus the half width. That gives me 1 more boundary. And I'm just going to add that boundary to this guy. So now let's see if that makes the test pass. I think it basically worked. I think this is that's the other test I did that has a to-do in it. So I think this test passes now. So now I just gotta worry about this one. Okay, so the idea here is I'm basically doing the same thing, but I'm just gonna accidentally pass in the durations in a non-sorted order. So for example, let's say we do it like this. And I'm assuming it's gonna fail right now because I think this is going to screw up my sliding window algorithm. Yeah, just out of curiosity, I want to see what got returned. Oops. So I expected this thing, but I got this thing. 15. Yeah, not like it's just nonsense, right? I have negative durations and things like that. Okay, that's fine. So the easy fix is to just do a sort on this list that I receive. Whenever where I'm using this guy, I should be using this instead. All tests pass. There we go. Okay, so I've calculated my buckets. Now what? What's the next step? So I guess I'm gonna go into my game controller, and where is this? Where I do it? Yeah. So here's where I update the short page, the short games page. And so now what I want to do is I want to use my duration bucketizer and figure out what the buckets should be. So let me think about how to do that. So I'm gonna, here's my duration bucketizer, calculate buckets for, and I guess like the more convenient way to do this is actually to make this a var args. I don't remember what the syntax is for that. Oh, I think it's just the word var args here. Okay, and then I might have to tweak my test a bit. Where's my input? Is my input only used here? Yeah, okay, so what I can just do is just copy this here. And same thing here. I don't need this though anymore. Just this. But where's my campaign? Here it is. Okay, so I want to and what are some good values here? This is probably a good one. 1 hour. 5 hours, yeah. 1 hour. 2 hours, 4 hours. Let's go with that. Okay, so now I have a bunch of buckets, and now I want to categorize games into those buckets. I think there's a group by method. That's probably what I want to use. Do I have my all known games? Oh, maybe I don't want to do it here. I probably want to do it in my game ranker class actually. So let me go to that. And where do I do short games? Games to play by duration. That's probably where I do it, but now I want to do it. I want to do it to buckets. Okay, so I'm gonna get my game duration buckets actually. So this might be more general than just short games. But so here's my buckets. I want to get. Actually, I probably want this whole expression here. So here's my my set of games that I want to bucketize. So group by Facebook messages. What do I have here? I want to group them. How do I want to group them? I have a game. Value. Get duration. Okay, now I want to figure out which bucket this guy fits into. Actually, maybe I want to go straight to duration. So I'm gonna do this. I need a. So I probably have to do some rounding here. Or maybe. What's the best way to do this? So I have a value in hours. If I do this, I have it in minutes. If I do this, I have it in seconds. Yeah, there's a lot of nullability here. So let's do it one step at a time. So what I'm gonna do is So now my duration is seconds, I believe, because here's my hours, times 60 to get minutes, times 60 again to get seconds. And then I can actually, I probably want to round it at this point. Math? Is it math.level? And then once I have seconds on this, so now I have a duration, nullable duration. Yeah, this, I think this is exactly what I want. So then duration buckets. So I want to find the value where it contains and I guess I just returned the bucket once I found it. So now I have games grouped by bucket. Then I want to map each key and I just want to sort it by the by their score, basically. I probably have an example of that somewhere. This. This does not work. What is the type of this? Oh, I got it. That should now be second. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure if this type looks weird to me. Wait, why is it map keys? I need to do map values. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so now I have buckets, and each bucket is a list of games. Yeah. Okay, that makes perfect sense to me. This is non-null, I believe. Is my buckets null? Is that possible? Let's do this. I assert that I'm pretty confident. Like, I want to throw an exception if there's no bucket, so. So for each bucket, okay, so I might actually want to make my make this a little, this data structure a little more sophisticated. I'll do this. I probably want, okay, so I'm gonna want people passing. Good. Oh, right, I need this one guy here. Oh, this is tricky now, because now I have to keep track of. I have to keep track of, for each boundary, how did we determine what the Okay, so let me think about this. Maybe I can do a map with index or something like that. Does that exist? Yeah, map indexed. Okay. Fix. There. And then not sure if this is gonna work, but we'll write the test to check. So it's probably a plus window based on what's happening down here. So this is gonna be I don't know why there's two packets there. I messed that up somehow. then the example one here is probably best. Okay. Don't need this comment anymore. Let's see if this is where's my tests? There it is. This is kind of a weird example now, but I guess this means I want to expose the lower bound. Is that the visibility I want? Because it looks like I only use this for tests. I mean, this whole test seems kind of dumb now, but I guess I'll keep it in case for to prevent regressions. So what is the duration for here? The exemplary duration. So this would be, this is my minutes 30. It's the guy, the exemplary value for this bucket. From 45 to 90, that's the 1 hour guy. Out of hours, 1. This is the 2 hour guy. Oh, and now I have, that's interesting. So I don't have an exemplary value for this one, so maybe this one is. So I guess exemplary has to be nullable. And this is, I think, this should produce the same results as the other one. It's just that I shuffled the order of the inputs, which we set up so that should not matter. So let's see. Compile errors. Game breaker. I want a containment. Okay, so let's create here. I don't want this to be I just want to check if this guy is between the lower bound and the upper bound. Is there a way to check if durations are... Actually, I think Kotlin does some operator overloading, so I can do something. I can probably do something like I want to return like, this guy is less than that guy. Yeah, and duration is less than bound. I want to handle. So if upper bound is null, that's supposed to represent infinite time. So that the second condition is always satisfied. So let me think about how to do that. I might have to write out if statements because this might be complicated. Or maybe a when statement. Okay, yeah. So if I have a null upper bound, then all I need to do is check this guy. But if he's not null, then I want to check both. Sure. Okay. Maybe I don't need this thing at all anymore. Well, let me finish. I'll fix all the tests and the compilers, and then if this is still not used, I can just get rid of it. Oh, compiler again. Okay, so I actually want to support infinite values for this also, I guess. So I want, okay, so let me, so when the duration is null, I'll call this input duration maybe. If the input duration is null and the upper bound is null, then I just need to check the lower. Actually, I don't even need to check the lower bound because I know the lower bound is finite. And this is staying infinite, so I just say true. Otherwise, if the input is null, the upper bound is not null, I know it's false. Otherwise, if the input is not null. These are the only 4 possibilities. So if it's not null, meaning it's a finite value, but the upper bound is infinite, I just need to check the lower bound. Oops, yeah, I deleted one. I just need to check this. And I don't know if the Kotlin compiler is smart to realize I've done every possibility here. Okay, check the test again. I think the syntax highlighting is buggy. I'm assuming this is, yeah, this is this variable, so this should have showed up in purple. I don't know why. Oh, maybe because there's no color applied to this, whereas there's a color applied to this. That's why this is purple, but this shows the default color. Buckets. I need to implement toString on this guy. Where's override? Or generate? Generate toString. At all range. Just work these 3 guys. Yeah, that's good enough. So expected this, but got that. Let's take a look. Expected where's the but received? But what? Here we go. So this is good. This is good. That's good. This is wrong. Okay, so there is a bug in the last guy. This is probably just signal. So the last bucket, the like the so-called to infinity and beyond bucket, doesn't have an example associated with it. That's what that bug was about. So let's check if the test passed now. Does not pass. Why not? Oops. Accepted this. What was that? Choose the last one. It's. Oh, you know what the problem is? It's probably that I need to implement the equals method. Let me think about this. What I'm thinking about is, do I want to make this a data class? Yeah, I probably do. That's probably and so that means I probably don't need to implement the string anymore. Let's take a look. That's all passed now. Perfect. Okay. So why did I do this? Why did I add this exemplary guy? Because I think I'm going to use that to get the I'm going to use the example label to use the sorry, I'm going to use the exemplary value to generate a label for the bucket. And let me rename this to bucket. Duration bucket, maybe, because I think I might in the future have other types of buckets. Okay, so where's my game record? Here it is. So now I have my duration buckets. I bucketize all these guys by that. And then let me think here. A map to a duration bucket to a list of games. Yep, okay. So then in the game controller, when I generate this guy, what I'm gonna want to do is I'm gonna say game update. I'm gonna want to get all those buckets. There's the game duration by buckets. For each. How do I want to do this? Actually, I probably just want to map their values. Because what I have right now, I'm working with this pair of string, which is the ID and game model, and I want to turn it into view model, like what we do up here. So I'm going to take each value. Now I have a list, and I want to map that guy such that. Actually, what do I don't want to just map this. I want to map X. Yeah. So this is the rank, and this is the game model pair, and then I'm going to go to view model, passing in the rank, and the pair. And then I guess I want to cap each of these lists to like length 20, something like that. I guess that's... Let me think about this. I'm probably gonna wanna remove this eventually because this is deprecated now by this. Or it's by duration bucket. Yeah, that's variable. Okay, so now I can go to my view code. It's this one. let me think about how I want to do this. Probably want to iterate. Oops. I want to iterate over this variable, being push my bucket as bucket list. And for now, let me just do this just to check that it works. I'm probably gonna have to reboot the server, so there's gonna be a bit of a startup time here. Where's my, here it is. Okay, while that boots up, let's take a look at the bucket names. Lower bound, 5 hours, 6 hours. Okay. I'm not I think I need to do a sort actually on the keys now that I think about it. I don't know if free marker supports that. Let's go. Okay, so it sounds like I want sort by. I don't know. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure if it will. Zero, 133, 45. So I think it's doing lexicographic sorting. So I want to do. What's this? Getting a whole bunch of exceptions here. Let's stop and take a look at the stack trace here. Okay, so it doesn't like what I just did here with this sort by thing. Okay, let me think. Take a step back here. I think, so I don't like working in the free marker DSL, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass in the durations like in a sorted order. This by duration bucket. I want the keys. I want to sort them by basically by the lowdown. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to pass in all the buckets in the sorted order, and then I'm going to use that to so that I can look up each list of games in the order that I control. So here we go. So this is this bucket. So now I have buckets, hopefully in a sorted order. Let's take a look here. Is the server started up yet? Should be started up. Okay, yeah, here's my... And then as it goes through its game database and indexes everything, this list should start to populate. Yeah, that's looking good. So we got this. We just gotta improve the label a little bit. So the label is gonna be based on the exemplary value. I don't know if there's a easy way to turn a duration to like a human-friendly string. Let's just try it for now. Let's see what this does. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay, let's get rid of this for now. The following has evaluated to null or missing exemplary. I'm pretty sure I named it exemplary. Let me. Where did I put? Not this guy. Here we go. Oh, did I not put it here? Where's my bucket? Oh, this is a class. I misread it. Maybe it's because it's private. Maybe that's what it doesn't like. Okay. Unfortunately, when I make changes to Java code, I do have to reboot the server. Shit, is there a way to tell Windows to put me into not disturb mode? Focus is that? Okay. Anyway, bucket dot exemplary. No, still doesn't like it. What a pain. Why does it not like that? Bucket exemplary is null. Oh, there is. Yeah, that's true. There is a. Okay, so I forgot that one of the values is null. Like exemplary is a null value. Oh, but it still is like. Is it this? Can't remember how to say. I think I have an example up here somewhere. I mean, this isn't great, but we're making progress at least. Okay, so I think this is the problem is when I forgot that when the exemplary is a nullable variable. So what I need to do is check if it's null, basically. So something like this. Problem here is I've got this bracket messed up. Yeah, okay. Got my bucket set up now. And now to actually show games in that bucket, what I'm gonna do is something like this. But what's the list I pass in? It's gonna be this guy, but then index, and I forgot how to do pre-marker. Yeah, look up how to index something. hashes. Okay, so I think it looks like it's with square brackets. I'll do this. Does this work? It's not liking this. Let me get rid of this temporarily so I can see what the problem is. I guess it's telling me that maybe what I'm passing in is null for. I feel like that's unlikely, but let's add a check for this. What I'm getting at is like, so this value might be evaluating to null. Actually, perhaps the easy way to check that is to let's just try to do a dump of this to see what this looks like. Okay, looks like it doesn't like that, and why not? It's saying that it's value to null. Can I do this? Or no, sorry, I keep mixing up. Maybe this. Okay, so it seems to be happy with this, so let's see what that looks like. So I'm not sure, maybe it's not letting me, like if I pass in a hash where the key is not one of the primitive types that FreeMarker knows about, in this case I'm using duration, then it might not be able to actually perform the lookup. So maybe I need to make the keys be like strings, for example. So let's see if we can do that. How would I do this? What I want to do is I want to create I want to get a way to turn duration buckets into strings, basically. So I'll make a function called label buckets. And give it a duration bucket, and it's going to give you a string. And so what I'll do is I'll say for now I'll do this. Well, I'll try to make a fancier label in a moment. But once I have this, can I just map the keys? Okay, so now I'm not passing durations directly to free marker. I'm passing strings in. So let's see if this will work. Nope, doesn't like that, so why not? Oh, right, I gotta update the template now. Okay, so now the bucket, this bucket, now I have bucket labels. Actually, so while I'm at it, I'll say. So now I have this, and then I can do this, hopefully. Let's see if this will work. Oop, no, I can't do this. How do I cancel the build? What's this? Okay, so let's take a look here. Array list. Okay, so that's good. That means I can probably do this actually. I can probably just call my macro here. Okay, so it's gonna index all the games. We can start to look at it. Yeah, okay, so right now it thinks all the games have unknown length, so that's fine. But as time progresses, nope, still doesn't know any of the lengths of the games yet. Well, there we go. I think we did it. I think the feature works. So yeah, it's showing. So here's all the games it knows so far that are about 30 minutes long. So this one's more like a little under 45 minutes long. Here's all the games it knows about. That's about 1 hour long. All the games it knows about that's about 2 hours long, and they're sorted by their ranking. Here, it's still indexing the game, so this will, in fact, if I refresh right now, I'll probably update. Yeah, so well, we got a different list of games now, but I think that's it. I think we managed to implement the feature. Let me see, commit this into Git here. I don't want to do this, but I do want to commit these guys. What's the change here? I'm trying to see. Oh, it's just white space. Yes. Tabs are a bit weird here. I might want to check that. Let me see what file that was in. Game ranker. Okay. Game ranker. I guess it's this thing here, and I guess here it looks like tabs are 2 spaces, but maybe in this UI it looks like 8 spaces or whatever, so maybe that's why it looks weird. So let me just... Actually, let me do one more change before I commit this. So this has been in the back of my mind a little bit, but like, so this is the class I really care about, and then I have this one static. But I feel like this should... I can just make this be the companion object for this class. I like this. And I don't need this guy anymore. So check what that breaks. Should be an easy to fix compile. Okay, so now let's commit some of this stuff. It's good, this is good. Yeah. Oh, right, there's a thing to remove. Game to play by duration. Oh, let me do a quick check. This is used. So if I just get rid of this completely. I don't need this. So I need this. This anymore. And this apparently was never needed. Okay. Yep, we want all this. Yeah, sure. This is actually not really changed, but it's a small change. It's just I had to do basically, and then I used the Elvis operator instead of doing this if check. Okay, and then let's run the tests one last time just to be sure. just to be sure I didn't break anything when I was doing all that refactoring while there were those last minute changes. So we get cleaned, run all the tests. Looks like the tests all pass on our main web server. Let's take a look. Looks like the basic functionality is working. Let's just do a quick sanity check across the site. Yeah, this page loads, this page loads, this page loads. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so let's commit. There we go, and we implemented that feature. Now I have games bucketized by their duration. Okay, so good job us. We implemented that feature. Gonna take a break now. I might stream later today. I'm not sure yet, but I haven't had lunch yet, and it's 2 p.m. So I'm gonna go grab something to eat. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.